Alright, what's up everybody? It's Ethan here. And today, as you see, I'm coming to you from the Zimmerman Lake trailhead here in Roosevelt National Forest at the beautiful Cameron Pass. It's northern Colorado, where the Never Summer Range and the Medicine Bow Mountains meet. And as you can see, there's some beautiful scenery here at the trailhead. And current altitude is about 10,000 feet, so pretty high up. Despite that, it's beautiful. It's about 65 degrees right now. It's a little cloudy, but it's not supposed to rain for a while longer, so I definitely got some time. So this hike is actually my backup plan. My original plan was to hike Lake Agnes in State Forest State Park, which is literally right down the road from here. But at the turnoff for Lake Agnes, I started driving up and quickly realized that it was going to be a really rough dirt road. And I got to a point where it got really bad and someone passed me. And I stopped them and I asked them, does it get any worse? And they were like, oh yeah, it gets a lot worse. So unfortunately, my car couldn't really make it up to the Lake Agnes trailhead. So definitely keep that in mind if you're planning on doing that. But luckily for me, this hike right here, only a few miles up the road, actually has a pretty similar round trip distance. This hike is about 3 miles round trip. Not really sure about the elevation gain. I didn't even know I was doing this hike until like 15 minutes ago, so I don't really know much about it. I hope it's cool, but I've never seen any pictures of Zimmerman Lake and don't really know what to expect. It'll be a nice surprise. Hopefully nice surprise. So, any of you wildlife experts out there instantly know what you're looking at. That is moose scat, moose poop. Nice big old pile of it right here on the trail. And it's not surprising at all. This area, the North Park, State Forest State Park, Poudre Canyon, all these areas here in northern Colorado, they call it the moose capital of Colorado because there's more here than anywhere else in the state. I think last they counted, there was over 800 that lived in this area. So if you do a hike out here, don't be surprised if you come across a moose. They're pretty commonly sighted up here. This little stream here making its way down towards Joe Wright Reservoir. Pretty cool. And as you can see, there's still some snow up here. July 7th, still snow. So I'm about 3/4 of a mile in, getting some views through the trees finally. Joe Wright Reservoir is down there. Really popular fishing spot up here. Really big reservoir. And the wide open trail continues up this way. So I just checked my altimeter. It says I'm at 10,400 feet. So that's interesting because up here, you know, being this far north, tree line actually usually starts at around 10.6 or 10.7 up here. Down like in the Front Range or, you know, further south, it starts at like 11.5 or even a little higher. But I don't know, I'm kind of wondering how much higher this trail goes up, because there's a good possibility that this lake could be at or maybe even slightly above tree line, which would be super cool. Wow, that's a beautiful view right there. It's incredible. And it actually started raining a little bit, but as you can see, it's still, you know, mostly sunny. There's really one kind of bad looking cloud right here, but the rest of it is, you know, still looking pretty good. There's some other storm clouds off in that direction, but I'm pretty close to the lake, so I think I should be fine. And I, you know, definitely don't hear any thunder or anything like that. No reason for me to really, you know, feel like I should have to turn around. All right, I made it to Zimmerman Lake. Not quite at tree line, but not too far from it. I mean, you can see where the tree line is right there. Maybe another couple 100 feet higher than the lake. And man, it's really beautiful. Now, I know Lake Agnes would have been a little more scenic than this, but I'm okay with that because this is still a really cool little lake, and I'm just glad that I had something else that I was able to do up here that, you know, was like a relatively short hike, because by the time I got up here it was already afternoon, so I didn't have time to do some crazy long hike. And there's a couple other people up here, but it's not very crowded. I saw probably like 2 or 3, I think like 3 or 4 maybe people coming down the trail when I was headed up here. And then it looks like there's about 3 or 4 people at the lake right now. Not bad at all. And it looks like you can keep hiking in further if you want. I'm not sure where it goes. I heard something about how there's like a mountain pass that's up this way, but I'm not totally sure. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there's like, you know, like I said, we're literally like 200 feet below the tree line right now. And there's another little cool view of some mountains, or a mountain peeking out from the trees in the other direction there. By the way, it should be noted that I would say everything from there going south is pretty much all Rocky Mountain National Park. We're very close to the border with the national park right now. This whole area, like State Forest State Park and Cameron Pass area, Long Draw Road, it all borders the northern part of Rocky Mountain National Park, which is really cool because there's actually a lot of hikes you can do up here that will start in Roosevelt National Forest or in State Forest State Park, and then will make their way into Rocky Mountain National Park. And there's lots of cool alpine lakes and other places you can hike to, and you won't see many people. It definitely won't be anything like the crowds you see at Bear Lake or, you know, Trail Ridge Road or any of those other really popular spots. But yeah, this is a beautiful little lake here, really cool. And you can see there's definitely some clouds starting to move in, so I'm not going to spend too much time up here, but I'm still enjoying it. This would be a great place if you could be here at like sunrise or sunset. This would be a great, like right where I'm standing right now, I imagine many moose have stood exactly where I'm standing right now. Pretty cool. All right, well, I'm heading back from the lake, and one thing I was thinking about when I was still up there was that this would actually be a great little camping spot really easy to get to. You know, only a 1.5 mile hike in with about 500 feet of gain. So pretty easy to get to, but it's a nice, cool little spot. Of course, you got your water source, and it would make a great like home base to check out some of those mountains that were just beyond the lake. I think that'd be really cool to just kind of set up a camp there for, you know, come out here for like a 3-day weekend, set up a campsite out there, and then just kind of day hike and explore all over the place. I might have to look into doing that at some point. But yeah, also keep in mind, if you're gonna come up here, definitely bring the bug spray, because the mosquitoes are pretty bad right now. And I should make it clear that I'm saying bad by Colorado standards, which means that, you know, to people who, you know, live in places where you truly get some really bad mosquito problems, you'd probably think this is nothing. But to the average person in Colorado, this would be considered, you know, pretty bad in terms of how many mosquitoes are out right now. So just bring some bug spray and take care of that problem. But trust me, I lived in Minnesota for 4 years, and I used to go up to the Boundary Waters and go hiking up there all the time. So I know what bad mosquitoes truly means, because it doesn't get much worse than the Boundary Waters in summertime. Something else I'd like to point out real quick is the wildflowers are finally out up at the high altitudes here, which is super nice to see. It's finally starting to feel like summer up here. Only took till July. Even despite the fact that there's still, like I said, there's still lots of patches of snow up here. It does really feel like summer, because you got, you know, the mountains are, a lot of the peaks are starting to clear up. You know, a good amount, I'd say like 80% of the snow has melted off of the tall peaks in most places, if not all of it in some places. But definitely temperature wise, it's definitely feeling more like summer too, because, you know, it's in the 60s right now, which is really nice for how high of an altitude I'm at. But I mean, it is July, so it really should feel even more like summer, because there should be less snow. But hey, we had one of the snowiest winters in the history of Colorado last winter, so it's gonna take a long time for all of it to melt. But yeah, it's really cool looking at all the wildflowers out here. There's quite a few of them out along the trail, as you can see. And I'll tell you, this would be a really cool trail to hike in the early morning or like just before sunset, because this would definitely be, there are quite a few spots, like right here is another one, where it would not surprise me at all to see a moose. So, but you know, like most animals, they tend to be most active during sunrise and sunset, so that's your best chance of seeing one. All right guys, well, I'm back at the trailhead, and there are still a few cars here, but there's actually a lot less than there were when I first got here. But anyway, that'll about wrap it up for this hike. That was really cool. I highly recommend it, especially if you're not looking for something too difficult. If you just want like an easy little hike that'll take you to a really beautiful alpine lake, I highly recommend doing this hike up to Zimmerman Lake. It's really cool. It's also a great fishing spot, really popular fishing spot, and it's a little bit quieter than Joe Wright. So, but anyway guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. This is really cool, and you know, if you ever come out, you know, anybody who's not from Colorado, or even if you are from Colorado, if you ever get a chance, if you haven't yet, come up to this area, this, you know, the like upper Poudre Canyon, State Forest State Park, Cameron Pass, the, you know, northern part of Rocky Mountain National Park. I mean, these are like, this whole area up here is like my absolute favorite place in Colorado. I think it is like just beautiful and stunning, and there's so many places you can go where it's just really remote and secluded and you won't see hardly any people. So if you've never been up here, I highly recommend it. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon on my next adventure.